Here you can see a wild Dylan frolicking in a parking lot. Dylans are often tempted by SUVs. Or sometimes even a 370Z. It appears this Dylan isn't sensible. However, there is something new afoot. A hybrid Toyota Sienna. And with its EV motor, it can quietly sneak up on its prey. Oh no.
Yup, that's me. I bet you're wondering how I got into this mess.
It all started when I had 2 kids. I knew then I couldn't have a 2-door sports car. And even then, the lack of space in a sports car just wasn't enough to meet my needs. I mean, if I'm going on a long road trip, I can't fit any of my luggage. And with this one, its stowaway seating makes so much room for every bit of luggage that I need to put in here. There's just so much cargo space back here.
No, Dylan. Cargo road. I told Dylan to just pay the child support, but he's a good father.
This is AutoLab.
2 guys reviewing cars and filming whatever happens in the process.
If you like what you see, subscribe and check out all of our other social media.
At first glance, this car is pretty basic. It won't compete in a race, and you won't see it turning many heads. But what it lacks in glamour and in showmanship, it gains in practicality. And it's under its surface that you begin to see its good merits come to fruition. And all of that begins on the inside.
This is the Toyota Sienna LE, and for being a base model, it comes very well packaged. So let's go ahead and check out the interior. On the interior of this vehicle, you have a lot of really nice things, even though it is a base model. For starters, you have automatic brights, which is becoming very standard on a lot of base models. Tri-zone climate control, so you have one for you with the passenger, and the rear is completely having their own climate control. And you have 4 cup holders, so you have 2 up here and then 2 right here. And you have plenty of storage in here. Since it is a very large vehicle, you have a huge bucket in here. You have plenty of storage underneath here on the bottom. And then you even have the glove compartment. And you have all of this up here to store wherever you want to. And you do have 3-row seating, so even though it's not as luxurious as a Kia Telluride or something else with 3-row seating, I actually have plenty of headroom back here. The only thing I don't have is leg room. And as you saw in our intro, there's plenty of space back here to put PVC pipes. If you want to know what these are here, check out our TikTok.
And its ample cargo space isn't the only good thing about this car.
It's also really easy to drive. One of the reasons is it's electronic steering, so it's going to be smooth. The suspension in the front is independent with a link suspension in the back, which honestly it could do with an independent suspension in the back, but you don't notice it. It's very comfortable in here, and it's a very nice place to be. I love the interior like Matt talked about, and because it's also an EV, which I will get into later, it gets to be smooth as well when you're on the highway because it shuts the engine off. Lots of visibility here as well, which is amazing. Overall, I mean, it's a minivan, so it's made for comfort and it's made for long trips.
This car drives pretty smooth, partly because it's really not that fast. Insert the clip of Dylan merging onto the highway here.
$60, $70. That's all it'll go.
We were barely able to get up to 70 miles an hour on the highway within a reasonable time, and that's partly due to the fact because this car is 4,600 pounds. It's pretty heavy. It's about 1,000 pounds heavier than most sedans, with about the same horsepower. Most sedans nowadays are coming with 200, 220 horsepower, and this car combined makes 245 horsepower, which is enough power to kind of get you in and out of traffic, but it makes it uneasy to get in and out of traffic and merging on highways and trying to pass somebody. Because once you get up to about 60 miles per hour, the electric motor doesn't really have much torque at all, and then you really are only relying on the actual engine to kind of pass vehicles, and that only has 126 horsepower. However, those two engines combined gives you 36 miles per gallon on the highway and the city, which is phenomenal for a 4,600-pound minivan. And that's due to the fact that the two engines work together to give you that excellent gas mileage. Even though the two motors can work in tandem, you can drive solely on the EV engine. It's actually pretty quiet because you don't have the engine running, so it becomes utterly silent, and you can just kind of cruise down the road. But as soon as you floor it, the engine kicks in.
And the way that the engine works with the motors is pretty cool. When you're at a stop position and you start going, it'll use the EV motor first, and then when you need more power, it'll kick in the engine. Then when you let off of the throttle, it'll use the power from the engine and then from the motion of the wheels to charge the battery, since this isn't a plug-in hybrid, it's just a standard hybrid.
So in this car, obviously having the electric motor and the actual gasoline-powered motor, you can use just the EV motor if you wanted to, and it's actually pretty cool. All you have to do is just press EV mode down here, and you're just driving along in just using the electric motor. It's actually pretty nice. In the EV mode that's active when you're below 20 miles per hour, you can pretty much just drive fully on the electric motor, which is really nice for driving around in parking lots because, let's face it, nobody's going over 20 in a parking lot. You pretty much get to drive around using no gas at all and rely solely on the electric motor.
So it's efficient, it's practical, it's got enough room for anything you'll need to put in it, and it was built by the same people who made the Hilux. But it's not perfect.
Complaints? I don't have many. I don't like buttons next to the screen. I am just picky in that sense. There's no sunglasses holder up here. There's just a mirror. The center console is a little bit too thick. When the engine kicks in after going off of EV mode, sometimes it can be a little rough. Most of the times, it's smooth. There's no dials for the temperature here, and there's no on button for the climate control. There's just an off button. So if you want to turn it on, you have to turn it up with the fan. It's not a big complaint, but, you know, gotta mention the bad parts too, don't I? The A-pillar, pretty thick. So if you have just that perfect angle on a corner where you have to move your head, it can get a little annoying. It's not particularly the most handsome car, but with a little good music and some soapy shots, anything can look sexy. This car starts at $36,000, and that's for this specific one, the LE base model. But its top dog, the Platinum, goes for $51,000. That one has leather seats, air-cooled and heated seats, wireless charger, power inverters, as in wall outlets, and 4-zone climate. There is also the option for all-wheel drive in some trims, which is pretty nice in a big car when you're in a snowy environment. If you were to put this car next to a Honda Odyssey or a Chrysler Pacifica, the Pacifica is garbage, but the Odyssey is good competition because that's a really nice car. The interior, I would go for the Odyssey, but this car is better gas mileage, better performance because it's a hybrid.
The Toyota Sienna isn't the most glamorous minivan,
However, it offers a better ride quality and interior than the competition, while also offering better gas mileage. This kind of sensation from a minivan was unheard of a few years ago. Even though you may end up becoming a soccer mom, the Toyota Sienna is a great van. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.